everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing really well. Today is going to be just a bit of playing with some new makeup. I have a pretty short window of time to film because we actually have a new puppy. I shall put a picture of her up here, but she's napping downstairs, so fingers crossed she shall remain napping for the next little while whilst we just play with some makeup. I cover up my dress, but this is going to make some of you so mad. Look how I opened this box. Which is absolutely awful. So I do apologise. Your Superdrug, your boxes are great, and I just ripped into it like an animal. A couple of things I'm obviously not going to use in this video. I mean, one of them is that if you order over a certain amount, you get a free microfiber face cloth, which, you know, who doesn't have a freebie? But one of the things I did get is the Optimum Retinol by Superdrug, and this is Superdrug's own brand, and I've been wanting to try the skincare bits for a while just because, you know, they're really reasonably priced, the ingredients look really great, the reviews are great, you know, all these kinds of things. But I've just never really like pulled the trigger. But I'd run out of my ordinary retinol kind of finally, so I was using the one in Squalane, which I've talked about before, and I do think it's a really great product. I just found it a little bit too heavy, a little bit too moisturising, a little bit too much on my skin over the summer. During the winter, that extra kind of oil and, you know, moisturisation and everything is lovely, but just over the summer it was a bit much. So now that we're getting to the end of the summer, I've finally bought a different one. So I will absolutely let you know how I get on with this. But, you know, like I said, I really love retinol as an ingredient. My skin seems to really enjoy it. Be careful with retinol, make sure you don't overuse it, and please put your sun cream on if you are using retinol, because it does make your skin more sensitive. But at the same time, you get some amazing effects, and this is suitable for vegans. So, you know, anyway, I'll let you know how I get on with this, but I did want to mention it before we get into the makeup. So I have headbanded up and I have primed my eyes using my H&M eye primer. Now, I appreciate that they don't actually make this eye primer anymore, which is genuinely gutting because I absolutely love it. I think it's an amazing eye primer, and yeah, I don't know why they don't make it anymore. It's really nice, but I wanted to use a primer that I was familiar with so that we can see how these shadows bear up. And this is one of the FriendsxRevolution eyeshadow palettes, and I got the one Forever Flawless. I love eyeshadow palettes in a tin because they are just really easy to keep clean. Like, I love my felt covered Lacura palettes, still use them, still love them, but the packaging does get dirty, and if you're traveling with it, if it's in your bag, then it does kind of just, you know, pick up all the dust and bits and bobs. But this will be super easy to keep clean, so I love that. And this is what it looks like inside. This was, so they've got a few different palettes, and this was just the one that I felt was the most, ooh, nearly dropped it, was the most useful for me in my everyday life. Some of the others were beautiful colours, really interesting, but this one just, I will use every colour in here. I absolutely love the fact that you can do your most basic neutral look in the world, or you can use all these like pinks and purples, or if you want to go a bit warmer, you've got those options. And then it has just a really good dark brown and a black. It's just, you know, it's got your transition shades, it's got your highlighting shades, it's got your shimmers, it's got a bit of glitter in there. It just has everything, and then it has a lovely big mirror as well. I think I'm gonna go for a kind of plummy purpley look. I am wearing my brand new pink shirt today, so I think I'm gonna go for the pinky purple colours, and also this shade Dollhouse. Can you see how that is just bouncing the light? It is absolutely stunning. So I think we are gonna have to use that. So first of all, I'm going to go in with the shade Dirty Day, and that's this lovely transition shade in the corner. It's kind of got quite a peachy undertone, so we'll see if it pulls a bit too peachy once the shades are on, but we'll see. Okay, so that's actually just a really lovely sort of my skin shade. Now, I like having a shade like that in an eyeshadow palette, because often what I'll do is just whack something like that over my eyelids just to negate any shine, or, I mean, I get slightly like shiny eyelids. It sounds really gross, but I really like to just put a shadow that you can barely see on all over my eyelid, bit of mascara, good to go. So I like having a shade like that, but I do want a little bit of something more. So I'm going to go for the shade next to it, which is called Kips. Now, I wasn't particularly, you know, I don't know, excited about a Friends collaboration, because I kind of feel like I missed the hype about Friends. Now, I was absolutely the generation that grew up watching Friends, but we never really watched it in my family, and so by the time I kind of came to it, I was a bit late to the party, I think, and I didn't really... I enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like crazy about it. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't jump on these collections straight away, but I did think they looked really pretty. But a lot of these are currently on sale. So if you have had your eye on any of the Friends, you know, and Revolution collaboration, now is your time. It's around about now that I realise that I can't remember the last time I did like a proper eyeshadow eye look on myself at all, let alone filmed it. So today might be a little bit interesting. We'll see how we go. That shade Kips is really nice, actually. It's a tiny bit... I don't know if it's being a little bit patchy, or if actually it's just grabbing where I put it down. Yeah, okay, cool. So this shadow very much does blend out, but be careful where you initially lay it down because if that isn't where you want the most colour, then you may run into difficulties. Lovely. Okay, so I think for next colour I'm going to go into Cheese, which is this mauvey... Do you say mauve or mauve? I never know, and I always get a crisis of confidence when I come to it. And I'm gonna use that just to sort of deepen up the outer edge up into the crease a little bit more. Now I am bringing it up reasonably high, just because I like that shape on my eye. I have very deep set eyes that also have a tendency to go down very easily. So I find bringing the colour up a little bit higher can really just make all the difference. Oh, I should have said, sorry, I am using a Sigma E35 brush, which is my absolute favourite eyeshadow brush, and I'm just using it. I'm not using a clean brush to get, I mean it's clean, but I'm not using a different brush for each shade, if that makes sense. Now in the camera it looks like it's coming off as a much brighter than it is in real life. In real life it's definitely more of a purpley pink rather than a pink, which is what it looks like in my little camera monitor. It looks quite bright, but we'll see when I come to edit whether that is actually translating. By the way, if anybody has any tips for getting the colours good in videos, let me know. I would love to know, just because I don't know whether the editing software that I'm using is like corrupting the picture ever so slightly, but it's not the same. Like when I'm editing it, every time I save it or something, it seems to like change colour, and then I'll try and correct it, but then when I actually upload it into YouTube, it seems to change colour again. So if anyone has any advice, I'm all ears. Okay, now, oh, I'm so tempted to use, no, I am going to use Dollhouse. I'm going to be good. But first off, I'm going to go into this beautiful kind of aubergine-y, slight shimmer shade. I've never been able to say that, and it's called Russ. So earlier when I said I wasn't a massive, you know, I have watched Friends, but I'm not like a super fan. I'll be honest. A lot of these names don't make any sense to me. I'm sure there are many hardcore Friends fans who are just screaming at me. Now I am taking the shade Rust with a very light hand because I don't want this to turn into a full smoke. I just want that sort of gradient of colour, yeah, and that deepening up of the outer part of the eye. Now, these shadows are performing okay. I'm not blown away by them. I think the colours are really pretty, but I mean you can see it there. It is a bit patchy. Now that could be application. Okay, this is first time I'm using the palette, first impressions, and like I say, I am not a makeup artist. However, I'm not completely inexperienced with makeup, and it just feels like it doesn't want to blend. Now, as always, I often say that I'll be super happy with how my makeup looks in person, and then I'll go to edit the footage and be like, oh, it looks really patchy. So I think just, you know, camera picks it up more than my eyes do. Maybe I need to get my eyes tested, I don't know. But there is very little to no fallout from this shade on my eye, so that I am impressed with. But like I said, I am going in with a very light hand, and I just want to apply it, you know, just in those areas we want to deepen up. I really like how pinks and purples look on my eyes. I think they make blue eyes pop in a really unusual sort of a way, and I have done a look bit. Have I done a look like this on my channel? I've done it on myself for a date night before, and I remember just really liking how it looked, and my husband really liked how it looked too, which is always nice. If you also have blue eyes, then give them a go, because you may surprise yourself. Alright, okay, I'm gonna go in with this shade Dollhouse, and I mean, look at that. That is insane. I'm going to apply this on the centre of the lid and then into the inner corner a little bit. Yes, that's pretty. Okay, so I am getting a bit of fallout from this because it is definitely a glitter shade. This is, it looks really smooth on your finger, but as soon as you put it on your eye, it's quite chunky. That shade is absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's kicked the look up a notch, that is for sure. But that shade is stunning. It's sort of a duochrome. I can't work out if it's duochrome pink and then gold, green or silver. It's kind of all three, which is very cool, and I am a fan. I am a fan of that shade. This shade is stunning, and I shall continue to just put too much of it on. BRB. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there for the glitter, but I will say something that microfiber cloths are very handy for are for getting rid of glitter fallout. They grab onto them in a way that nothing else will. And because they're so soft, A, it just feels lovely, and B, it's not going to tug at your eye, not going to make the skin red, anything like that. And it's all good. So I just recorded an entire section and realised that I wasn't filming, so good job, Heather, very good job. But all I was saying is that the next two things I bought from Superdrug are two eyeliners, and one is a grey kohl liner from the brand Be Beauty, and this is another one of Superdrug's kind of own brands. They seem to have quite a few, which is slightly confusing, but you know, whatever. But I've never tried anything from this line, so I'm excited to give this a go. But the one I'm going to be using today is the Kohl Eyeliner Precision Colour by Collection in 02 Brown. And this used to be one of my all-time favourite liners. This was one of the first eyeliners that I ever bought as a teenager, and I used up my first one until it was like an absolute stub and I could no longer like hold it properly to apply it, and then I ended up ordering a new one and got sent the wrong one, but used that up instead, and now we are back on we're back on the collection hype. If you are somebody that doesn't have a huge amount to spend on makeup and all that kind of stuff, but you do want to have some good solid items in your routine, then check out Collection because their stuff is really, really decent. It's not the best in the world, but for the price it is really, really good. And I love their eyeliners because I love the colours of them. This is what I would call a true neutral brown. It's not too cool, but it doesn't pull like orangey, which so many brown eyeliners do on me. So I absolutely love this. Do not be put off by the reviews on the website because they're not very good, being perfectly honest, but I've always loved how this applies and wears, and I have already put a bit on because like I said, I thought I was filming and I was not. I'm actually going to jump and do my brows now. I don't know why, I always do it in this order. I always do my lids and then I do my brows and then we have a little bit of face product to use and then we'll come back to the eyes and finish them off. But this is another completely new to me product, and it is the Brow Define Micro Precision Eyebrow Pencil by MUA Makeup Academy, and I've got the shade Mid Brown. Now, the last eyebrow products I had were from e.l.f. and really, really enjoyed those. More to come on those. But I really enjoyed using a really precise pencil. Now, I did speak about in my e.l.f. video that the waste of them does bother me a little bit, but they're so tiny. I'm trying to justify it to myself. So that's the only thing that I don't like about eyeliner pencils, eyebrow pencils, is the plastic waste. I think if you're using a pomade or something, often it's in a little like glass pot and just lasts you a lot longer, but you know, the effect you get on your brows is very different. So anyway, this is a classic little spoolie on one hand and liner on the other, so I'll use the spoolie just to comb through. Oh, it's a nice spoolie too. Some I find are sort of too densely packed, if that makes sense, and you can't actually comb through your brows. It doesn't really grab them, it just kind of smushes the top ones, I don't know, along. So I like the spoolie, and that is a very, very fine nibbed pencil. So the colour looks good in the packaging, so let's see how we get on. Okay, it applies quite softly, which I like. I don't like eyebrow pencils that you have to really drag because it can get quite painful. Okay, both brows done. I really like that. I like that a lot. It's a lighter colour than I would normally have, just because I like a dark brow. We know this. We know this already. But I really, really love the formula of this, especially. So I might have to get used to the colour, just because, like I said, the pencil that I have been using is a bit darker than this one. But I really like that. I love the formula. The formula is chef's kiss. Okay, so the last new thing to me is this beautiful bronzer from Revolution, and I love Revolution as a brand. I talk about them a lot on my channel. They're just an amazing, affordable, cruelty-free, good quality, yada yada yada. They do have a tendency to rip off other brands, which, you know, I mean, they call it, you know, is it a dupe or is it a copy? I don't know. So that's my only thing. But they do have some really beautiful products. And I have been on the hunt for a new bronzer for a while now, because my everyday makeup is bronzer all over the eyelids, mascara, eyebrows. Like, those are the only 3 products that I use on a day-to-day basis. And then, you know, a bit of concealer if we feel it's needed, but generally speaking, that's where I leave it. And I've been using the Physicians Formula bronzer because I bought it a while ago. I love it. It's an amazing bronzer, but very, very sadly, Physicians Formula are no longer a cruelty-free brand, which is gutting because I love their products. So obviously I've been, you know, using it up and trying to use it, but I want to do, you know, my everyday makeup routine on my channel, but obviously I don't want to feature a product that is not cruelty-free. So when I saw this, I thought this could be a really lovely alternative. It's not the same by any means. This is more of a marbled, very like shimmery bronzer, which I actually really quite like. But I love using a bronzer like this, kind of on my cheeks. There's a bit of extra colour and also just a little bit of highlight. I don't tend to wear a lot of highlighter, but I like a slightly shimmery blush or bronzer to kind of give me that effect without, you know, having to pile on the product. So I thought I would give this a go. Quite a lot of kick up from it. It's the only thing, which is slightly odd for a bronzer, but let's see how it applies. Oh wow, yes, that is a glow. That is a glow for sure. I'm gonna have to be careful. I would have to powder here because this is where I get shiny. So I'm just a little bit shiny there, just from, you know, it's warm and I'm filming. So if you do not like a luminous bronzer, you will hate this. But if you do want that, I think this is gorgeous, and this is gonna be beautiful on the eyes. I am very excited to use this as just a massive eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm gonna go away and finish off the eyes, and then we will be back for a very quick debrief. And that is the look done. I just did a little bit more of the collection eyeliner under my eyes and then just lined my eyes with it as well. Lashings of my Bare Minerals Lashtopia mascara, Lashtopia mascara, and I still love that mascara. I absolutely adore the effects of it. It's gorgeous. And yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with how this look turns out. I mean, it is glowy and shiny to the max, but you know what? Who doesn't need a bit of that on a Thursday afternoon as filming this Friday for you? So, super quick rundown, eyeshadow palette, love the colour story, very, very wearable shades. Not super impressed with the formulation, but I will continue to play with it. And obviously there are so many colours in this palette that I didn't even dip into. Overall, for the price, I think it's brilliant. And I love the fact, like I said, tin, big mirror, really wearable shades, very, very good palette for me personally for travel because of the massive mirror and the fact that these are all shades that I'm going to use on a daily, regular basis. So this is a great find for me. But like I said, the shadows were a little bit tricky to work with at times, so just worth bearing in mind. The eyeliner, I love it as much as I thought it would. Still a hit for me. And then one of the standout products for me is actually this Brow Define eyebrow pencil from Makeup Academy. Really, really enjoyed this. The only thing is that because the formula is really soft, which I like, am I gonna have to repurchase this pretty quickly? So although it was super affordable, is it then gonna turn out to be less affordable because I need to buy more of them? Does that make sense? You know, that's my only concern with this, but really like the colour, really like the way it applied, no complaints. So we shall report back on how long this lasted. Keep your eyes peeled for another empties video. And then lastly, the bronzer. I really like it, but it is a little bit on the, this is a highlighter, kind of a glowy bronzer. Like that is, you know, that's pretty blinding really for a bronzer. So I don't think this is going to replace my Physicians Formula 1, sadly. I think it's just a little bit too luminous for that. But you know what, I think I bought this knowing that that might be the case. So I will absolutely love using this as a one and done eyeshadow. I can see that already. But yeah, for a bronzer, it might be a little too luminous for me. I hope you really enjoyed this little, just play with some new makeup, look at some new bits. It's always just fun playing with new toys, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it. If you did, please do give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. It makes all the difference in the world, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Have a wonderful, wonderful time in the meantime, and I will see you very, very soon. How do they expect you to get into these things? There's a fly buzzing around this room and it is driving me insane. But he also won't leave. I keep trying to get him to leave and he won't. So clearly he's interested in my new makeup as well. You know, browns and golds set off blue eyes really beautifully. Shall continue to use them. There is a truck driving by. Helpful. I think it's a good match for me. I like having quite dark brows, but actually, oh,